Squibb presents the finest in motion picture entertainment, Academy Award. The House of Squibb, manufacturing chemist to the medical profession since 1858, bring you Academy Award. The pictures, the players, the techniques and skills which have won or been nominated for the coveted awards granted each year by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to each in his field for outstanding achievement. Each week, Squibb on the Air brings you only the finest performances. Squibb in your home brings you only the finest medicinal products, pure, effective, reliable. Squibb, a name you can trust. Tonight's picture is Kitty Foyle. Tonight's star is the distinguished RKO player, Miss Ginger Rogers. And now, Miss Ginger Rogers.
Thank you. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My hope is that some of our excitement and pleasure in reenacting these Academy Award roles will be communicated itself to you through our performances. Also, it would be ungrateful of me if we were to do Kitty Foyle tonight without thanking the men who brought Kitty to the screen. So thank you, David Hempstead and Sam Wood. Kitty Foyle was written for radio by Frank Wilson with an original musical score composed and conducted by Lee Stevens, and our producer-director is D. Engelbach.
Academy Award, starring Ginger Rogers in her 1940 Academy Award-winning role of Kitty Foyle.
Kitty! Kitty! Kitty, girl!
Yes, Pop?
Shut that dang thing off!
I can't, Pop. I can't. I'm going too fast. I'm on a sleigh ride.
A sleigh ride. Well, it seems my whole life